YouTube, what's up? Back again for another daily fishing video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. Wrapped up Lake Norman in 40th place. Got the last check of the event. And I don't know if I've ever been so happy with a 40th place finish. You know, day 2 was one of those days that probably we'll never forget. It was just one of those super stressful. If things could go wrong, they went wrong. And let me tell you, it was until the end that I actually figured something out. But I'm going to try to get that video out in the next couple of days, the day 2 video. You're going to want to watch it. You're going to see a few things that go down, and they're really stressful. And the fishing was kind of tough on the second day. But on a side note, I am going to the Amazon to fish with Scott Martin, and we're going to go catch some peacock bass. We're going in the second week in November, kind of treating it as a birthday trip because my birthday's on November 25th. And so we're going to go to the Amazon. But the cool thing is Scott's kind of opened it up to 4 people. So 4 people can go with us. And now it's expensive. I'm going to be the first to tell you. It's like $5,000 for the trip. And you can find out more on Scott's Instagram page. But basically, 4 people are going to get to come with us and stay on the boat with us, fish with us, be filmed. We're going to film literally every single day. We're doing a bunch of filming. So there's a lot of stuff you get to do and see. So if this is something that interests you, you need to go check it out. Comment below if you have any questions. I might be able to answer them. If I can't, I'll try to get some answers from Scott. But today's video, guys, let's just go ahead and dive right on into it. It's one that I've wanted to talk about for some time. The Johnston brothers. Chris and Corey Johnston, absolute Canadian hammers. The guys have, I remember fishing against them when they first started fishing the FLW tour, and I fished against them for a long time, and then they jumped over to the Elite Series, and they've had a very, very good run. You know, one thing that a lot of anglers have noticed over time, and myself included, is how dominant the Johnstons are at the St. Lawrence River. Lake Ontario, and people are going to say, oh, well, it's because they live there. True, they do. They probably know every rock in the lake and every rock in the river. But I think it's more than that. And today we're going to break down why I think the Johnstons are more successful at the St. Lawrence River. And it's not really what you may think. And it wasn't until I went and fished this past event that Corey won that I realized exactly why they have such an advantage on that particular body of water. So let's break it down. You know, you can look at a bunch of different lakes and look at a lot of different locals and say, man, this guy just beats everyone at this particular lake. You know, look at Jason Christie with Grand Lake, or Edwin Evers for that matter. You can look at like a Todd Castledine for Sam Rayburn. But everybody has some bad tournaments. But those guys don't have bad tournaments up there. A bad tournament for them is 10th place. You know, a good tournament for them is a top 3. And a great one is a first place finish. But you consistently see these guys doing it over and over and over. And I think I figured out why. It's not because they have some magic bait. It's not because they have one rock that has all these 5 and 6 and 7 pounders on it. I think, my opinion, after fishing the body of water, is they make better decisions than everybody else. They know when the wind blows out of the north, exactly where to go and exactly where not to go. I think it's more important to know where not to go than where to go. Because the deal is, for instance, my particular event there, and y'all didn't get to see it because, or not all of it, because it was so windy, I had camera mounts break and everything like that. But the big deal is I made some runs out in some really sketchy water, and those guys didn't even have to, because they knew with that particular direction of wind and the force of that wind, they knew exactly where they could tuck in and still catch bass. Because the deal is there's a lot of places on that river and on that lake that you can catch 20 to 25 to 27 pounds. And if you make the right decisions, you're going to have that opportunity. Now, granted, I had some chances to catch a big bag every day, but I put myself through the ringer to try to do it. And I'm not saying those guys didn't. I just think those guys make better decisions than anyone else. They know, for instance, I'm running on day 2, and I'm running in the river, and it's rough coming through the river. And Chris Johnston passes me on the right. and he hugs this island. And I honestly, the wind kind of wrapped with the current and everything like that, and I wasn't real sure where the best lane to run because I'd never been there before. Chris hugs this island and goes up this chute, and I'm like, you know what? I'm following him because I know he's going out to the lake, so I mean, he probably knows the best path. And he ran this path I didn't even know existed, and it was calm basically the entire time. And I'm like, how, that alone, and I can look out in the distance and I can see guys just beating the crap out of their boats trying to run where I just was running. And we're over here running 65, 70 miles an hour. Little things like that make an enormous difference whenever you start talking about fishing time and trying to catch bass and all that kind of stuff. And to me personally, are the Johnstons fantastic fishermen? No questions asked. They are some of the best, if not the best, smallmouth fishermen on the planet. I mean, they're extremely good. Ask guys like Zona, Van Dam. They're all going to tell you the Johnstons at Ontario and St. Lawrence are some of the best out there. They literally have forgotten more about that place than I will ever know. But I think their biggest advantage is they make better decisions. And the other thing is they understand boat pressure. So they can read a situation and say, okay, this particular shoal is getting a lot of pressure. I'm going to steer clear of that. This one's getting a lot of pressure. I'm going to steer clear of that one. This one's not getting any pressure. And I know where 20 pounds lives on that particular shoal. And they can go over there and catch it. You know, they can steer away from the pressure where a guy like me that's never been there, limited practice, no information, and just showing up and going fishing, I don't know where the bad spots are. I don't know what places are getting a ton of pressure. I just know where I've gotten a few bites. And, you know, and the difference is those guys are throwing 8-pound tests and all that kind of stuff. And I was throwing 5 a lot of times and catching a lot of my biggest ones on 5-pound tests. And people are going to say you don't need 5 there. But where I was fishing and the amount of pressure that those fish had gotten, I think it made a huge difference. Those guys just understand how that lake works. They understand the timing issue. They know where to go whenever the wind blows, and they know when and when not to go to the lake. And I mean, looking back at my particular event, I should have known better, and I didn't. I mean, how was I supposed to know? I'd never been there before. I didn't know. As far as I knew, if you could make it to the lake, you should go to the lake. And based off my practice and the size of fish I was catching in practice, I mean, that was my very best place that I felt like I could catch 25 pounds a day. And that's what I was shooting for. You know, it's funny because I actually had a spot in the river that I was like, I think I can go catch 20 pounds off of it a day. But I felt like was my max. I didn't think I could go catch 22, 23. The one day of practice that I found it, I caught 22 to 23 because I had 3 5-pounders. Or 2 5-pounders and a heavy 4 and some others. But I mean, I had a good bag, but it wasn't one of those, it wasn't 25, 26, 27. And seeing the size of some of the fish that I caught on the lake, I could not justify not going out there. And once again, I mean, I did catch big bass at the event with a 613. But the whole moral of this story is why the Johnstons are so dominant. They make better decisions. They understand the water better. They avoid the pressure for the most part. You rarely see them on a place that 25 or 30 boats are fishing. And quite frankly, they're fantastic shallow water smallmouth anglers as well. That makes a huge difference. They can see those fish way better. They know what they're looking for. And that makes a huge difference when you're up there fishing those shallow fish. But guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this particular video. I know it's a little bit different, but it's something I've actually wanted to talk about because before now, I honestly could not talk about it. I'd never been to the St. Lawrence River. But seeing that I fished the event against those guys, I fished the same conditions, I was there. I mean, I got to witness it firsthand why these guys are so good up there. And I hope this kind of puts things in perspective as to why from now on fantasy fishing, you better be picking those 2 guys. No matter what bracket they're in, those 2 guys better be on your team. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that sub button in the bottom right-hand corner. And check out Scott's Instagram page, for real. If you made it this far, I'd love for y'all to join us at the Amazon, catch some big peacock bass. We're going to have a blast, guys. Make sure y'all check it out. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.